the San Francisco Women's Building, which was this beautiful and is this beautiful community institution of different organizations that serve women of diverse communities from San Francisco, but particularly women of color. It is covered in these gorgeous murals painted by women of color. And following 9/11, it was graffitied with horrible slanders against Muslim and Arab women. All of the organizations came together to discuss not only how to clean it up, but what is important to make Arab and Muslim Southeast Asian women who were experiencing a lot of racism. Their communities were under a lot of surveillance. Their communities at home were threatened by war. A lot of organizations that claim to be Jewish, but who really support and defend Israel, who came out with a lot of very Islamophobic and racist statements. And in that context, it felt particularly important to name Zionism as a form of racism that San Francisco Women Against Rape acknowledge. And so after literally 5-6 months of debate and discussion internally, the women of color, day-to-day staff and volunteers of San Francisco Women Against Rape decided that they would integrate that in addition to other forms of racism and xenophobia, Islamophobia and Zionism. And then the Jewish Community Relations Council got involved. And they had been involved early on in getting people to write and to protest and to agitate the board and agitate staff and agitate volunteers. And they even tried to send volunteers in to then, under false pretenses, say that they were there to really support women being involved. And then really those volunteers were there to agitate against this principled stance against this particular form of racism. They kept the pressure up, threatened elected officials. This is all part of the pattern of what we've seen, and they really went after the contract of San Francisco Women Against Rape, and they succeeded in freezing it for 9 months. For 9 months, San Francisco Women Against Rape lost what was then about 70% of our funding. And so we had to cut back our services. This crucial rape crisis center that predominantly serves women of color, low-income women, the LGBTQ community, people with disabilities who are experiencing sexual violence. The Jewish Community Relations Council cared more about the defense of Israel, which is not even supposed to be their mission, than they did this community service, which included serving Jewish women. They would take away the biggest rape crisis program in San Francisco because it said and acknowledged that Zionism is an ideology that foments Islamophobia and racism that are experienced by the women who were part of the community of women who need rape crisis services. We demanded a listening session, and in the end, the Board of Supervisors realized that they were allowing this economic coercion, and they did reinstate the money. And they said ultimately that Jewish Community Relations Council had to work this out through discussion and dialogue with us. They couldn't do it by taking away and threatening the money of this crucial organization. It was a very powerful lesson in the ways that community can come together, and that another thing that happened is there was a board member who resigned from the Jewish Community Relations Council because they couldn't really get behind that misuse of power.